So James Harden will make his return to Houston tonight for the first time since he forced his way out via trade earlier this season. And yeah, that was a little messy, but Harden hopes to get some love on his return, saying, quote, "The love and the appreciation that I've given to that city and that I still give to that city, I'm hoping that the favor can be returned." Interesting to think about. Shannon, if you were a Rockets fan, how would you react to Harden's return here?
I would be upset because he quit on my team. There's no other way around that. James Harden has been a great player for that organization. And when he's introduced, I would cheer because I would realize, and I think he'll have a greater appreciation, Skip, as time passes. But in the meantime, I'm still a little upset. So when they introduce him at the start of the game, I'm going to cheer him. But every time he touched the ball after that, I'm booing the brakes off him because he doesn't play for the Rockets anymore. He plays for the Nets. So I'm gonna boo him, but I'm gonna cheer. I'm gonna cheer for the great moments that he had while he was here. And it's mentioned that I think Tillman Fertitta says he's gonna retire the number, and he should, Skip. I think James Harden is probably the second best. I think Olajuwon is the best player in Rockets history. And then you can make a toss-up between he and Moses Malone for second best. But I think Olajuwon is hands down, for me, the best player. Won 2 championships, Defensive Player of the Year. Many times, I think it was a 9-time first-team All-NBA. I believe he's arguably the greatest defensive center. Some will say Bill Russell. So James Harden, for what he's done in that organization, for what he's done for the city of Houston, Skip, he's deserving of having his number retired. He should be cheered in the beginning. They introduce him, James Harden, Arizona State. Yay! He get the ball in his hand. Boo!
So Shannon, I'm with you about the jersey. It deserves to hang in the rafters. I'd also throw Clyde Drexler in there as one of the greats. You could argue him somewhere up in the pantheon.
Clyde only played. He only played a couple of years. He didn't play ball that long. But yeah, he was a great player. Yeah.
They love him because he played at the University of Houston, obviously.
University of Houston.
Phi Slamma Jamma team.
Yeah.
North Carolina State got him. But the point is, where you lost me a little bit was, you're going to cheer him when he's introduced, but then you're going to boo him when he touches the ball. Maybe I can't relate or identify with a Rockets fan, but I don't think I could flip that switch. I don't think so. I think if I'm going to boo, I'm going to boo when he's introduced. And they have every reason to boo him because he quit his way right out of town in one of the ugliest episodes in the history of the National Basketball Association. And he went from Fat James to flipping his switch in Brooklyn, and all of a sudden Fat James was playing at an MVP level. And you can make a very strong case that he deserves the MVP as we speak, that he is edged ahead with his phenomenal triple-double the other night in which he had 0 turnovers. Well, where was that early this year? Well, obviously there was method to the madness. He just wanted out. So he gave him one good opening salvo, as you and I talked about, at Portland. And then after that, he's just not going to play because he wants out, and he successfully forced his way not only out, but into basketball heaven with KD and Kyrie in Brooklyn. And you see the results now, and unfortunately, Rocket fans are having to live with the results. So that would hurt my heart if I were a Rocket fan.
What about the 8.5 years, Skip?
What's that?
What about the 8.5 years that he did? What about the 8.5 years?
Okay.
I mean, you just can't look at the bad times, and sometimes, you know.
Okay, I'm going to give you this. These are the reasons that you should forgive and forget if you're a Rockets fan. He won you an MVP. 3 times he led this league in scoring, and they were 3 in a row. And he also led the league one year in assists in 2017. And he established himself as, I think we both agree, simply the greatest perimeter scorer in the history of the league. And you got to benefit from that as far as being entertained by that on a nightly basis. You got to root for that. But come postseason, you had more pain than joy because James' overall record in Houston in the playoffs was 42-43. as you know, they twice got to the conference finals against Golden State. The first time they lost to Golden State in 5, and in the closeout game, James really was the disappearing act, APB. And then you remember what happened in 2018. They lost in 7, but they were up 3-2 when Chris Paul again pulled hamstring, and it was up to James to try to carry the load. And they lost Game 6 by 27 at Golden State, and then they lost at home in Game 7 by 9. And once again, James was a virtual no-show. And we've seen him be no-shows against my Spurs and big playoff closeout games. So he never delivered at the biggest moments in playoff games. So at least that disqualifies him enough that if I'm a Rockets fan and I watched him quit his way out of town, I don't think I could applaud him when he's introduced tonight. If anything, I would just sit on my hands. If anything, I'd just be quiet. Maybe silence would be the most deafening. You know, if they gave him the silent treatment tonight during introductions, maybe that would hurt the most. But to your point, I don't doubt that they're going to boo him louder and louder the more he touches the ball, and he will have the ball in his hands a lot.
Yeah, Skip, but I look at it like this, and Jenny, you can appreciate this. Skip, you're in a relationship 5, 6, 10, 15 years, and it doesn't end the way we all hope we would live happily ever after. So are we just going to discount because it ended badly? We're going to discount all the good times that we had? I was like, well, damn, didn't we go to Super Bowls and didn't we go to the Kentucky Derby? Didn't we have good time? We went out to eat and had family gatherings and got together. So you're just going to discount every good that we had and only focus on the bad? So the Rockets fans, are you only going to focus on the last, 9, 10 games in which he quit? Skip, I'm not excusing his behavior. I don't want people to think, so it's okay to quit. No, it's not okay to quit. He handled it poorly. James Harden will tell you he handled it poorly. But I'm saying he gave you 8 really good years, and the last, month, 2, 3 months were bad. So I guess now they're saying the 3 months of bad outweighs the 8 month of good. That's my only thing. I'm like, and that you see that a lot in the relationship, Skip, is that people discount all the good that's been built up and just focus on the negativity or the bad. I'm not like that.
Okay, but Shannon, to further your relationship analogy, what if in the bitter end she cheats on you and then she runs off with the other guy? I don't think you're going to be able to forgive and forget that one. I don't think you're going to cherish the good times. I think they're all disqualified.
Yeah, Skip, you have to. No, Skip, you can never, without forgiveness, there can be no freedom. So I can't let her hold my feelings
but hostage. In the end, in your heart of hearts.
I can't be in bondage because, yes, Skip, it'll be a bad situation. But, you have to move on. Hey, she's better. This is what she wanted. That's not how we wanted it to end. I'm sure the Rockets fan didn't want it to end like this because you're never going to get value back for James Harden. Skip, they're not getting another James Harden.
No.
They're not.
No.
Those guys don't come along. Guys like James Harden come along once every 15, 20, 30 years. And the Rockets are not going to get it. Another one like that.
Yeah, look at them now. They're tail spinning, man. They're having a hard time.
Well, I think they lost 11 straight.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about 4,500 fans who will be in attendance. And Shannon, since you brought me into this conversation with the relationship analogy, I'm not cheering for him. I don't want to see him happy that he's moved on to a new relationship. It's working great. He got really fit without me. No. I'm not cheering for him. I would not be going to that.
Jenny, y'all had great time together.
It doesn't
What about all those ski trips? What about all those vacations?
You think I'm so nice? Yeah, don't bring up me. I'm not going to be cheering for you. We're moving on. That
what happened to Hallmark Jenny?
It will be featured in the Fox Bet Super 6 NBA contest. Enter for a chance to win $25,000. And I love those relationship analogies.